Okay, there's been a new docket update to Big U's case. There's been a bunch of motions to suppress various wiretaps and information. So I went through one of them that's 100 and some pages and summarized it so you can get a sense of some more of the inside baseball of the United States versus Eugene Henley. The FBI obviously was operating in conjunction with the LA Metro Task Force on Violent Gangs. Anytime there's a task force, you in trouble. Most big cases come out of task force. That means local police, might be multiple federal agencies. So in this case, you had LAPD, LA Sheriffs, FBI, DEA, IRS as well. The target offenses included interference with commerce by threats of extortion, being a felon in possession of a firearm, using a firearm in furtherance of a violence or dope trafficking, wire fraud, bank fraud, false statements and loan applications, conducting an illegal gambling business, and conspiracy to distribute controlled substances. The gun stuff always sounds the craziest, but guns are a right for Americans to have. Even, guns don't get you in as much trouble as you might think, but all of that wire fraud, bank fraud, that stuff will get you a lot of time. Just look at Sam Bankman Fried, a good white boy from the suburbs, doing 25. So this affidavit was about suppressing a lot of the wiretaps. Affidavit details numerous communications intercepted via previously authorized wiretaps. Okay, subject A, firearms trafficking and possession. Henley, a convicted felon. Listen, man, I try to stay very careful around. If I see a guy I make friends with and I know he toting, I gotta tell him. I already had a case like that. You got to make a concerted effort to stay away from guns. I mean, unless you doing something, don't just randomly be around guns. You can go to prison for it. Henley, a convicted felon, prohibited possessing firearms, was intercepted discussing a little one with Melvin Carter. In another call, Henley coordinated with Lamarck Saunders to locate a stashed firearm, which the criminal network referred to as a toy. Sylvester Robinson was intercepted, verifying that an associate, Giovanni Jones, had a toy on his person while visiting the reefer shop. And additionally, Zahir Mitchell, our favorite Bricc Baby, was recorded negotiating the sale of multiple firearms with John Daniels. That sure sounds like a police-ass name. Hi, I'm John Daniels. I would like to buy guns from the Rolling 60s. Pricing several at $1,500 each. So, interesting. Okay, what's interesting about this? When I said little one toy, who says a little one is a gun? Who says a toy is a gun? A federal agent testifying that he's an expert and he knows that in the LA gang street culture amongst the Rolling 60s, toy means guns. That's scary that can be used. Not to say that they're wrong or right, I don't know. I do have a friend, he got sentenced to a long time for heroin trafficking, and he was guilty. But as part of the case, on one of the wiretaps, he had a white truck he had just bought. And you know how when you buy brand new, especially like expensive blue jeans, and you haven't washed them yet, the ink on them, like you may sit on something white, and a little of the blue may get on it. So when he let this other guy who was a drug dealer borrow his truck, he called him, was like, man, you got my white seats dirty. Watch that. I can't have you getting my white seats dirty. And they testified in their expert that was code for drugs that have been cut too much. And it wasn't. It literally, he got a seat. So if you get in the Fed's radar, and these experts, these 40, 50-year-old men, I mean, whether they're white or if they're black, they're not people from their FBI, their knowledge of slang, where are they getting it from? So words you use on the phone, you think you're being slick, whatever. subject to extortion and robbery. Robinson, as Big V, was intercepted threatening a victim that Henley would escalate a debt owed from $3,000 to $20,000 and hunt the victim down if Henley's rental property wasn't cleared. So here you go again. This is probably something he didn't even think of at the time. I don't know if he's guilty, but I'm just going with the scenario. Someone owed him $3,000, and it sounds like he told him, clean one of my rental properties up. Now, did the guy mess up the rental property, or was he just someone who owed him? I'm not sure, but you owe me $3,000, and I'm gonna tell you, do this. Come fix up my father's house, or you owe me $20,000, and I'm gonna hurt you. That could be something you're not really thinking about it. You're mad at a guy. Whatever. I let a guy stay in the back room of my father's house. He was on some crackhead shit. He fucked up the room. He made the bathroom nasty. So now I'm like, you got to get out and you got to repair what you did in my father's house. And I'm so mad, I'm going to fuck you up and you owe me $20,000. That could just be, but it's the type of thing that goes in a RICO. Henley and Mark Martin, is that Bear Claw, were recorded threatening the owner of an auto repair shop, intimidating the owner into accepting $18,000 less for getting their cars fixed. During the call, Henry bragged that he had recently robbed somebody for $50K and used those illicit funds to pay for the vehicle repairs. So you hit a $50,000 lick, you're paying for the car, then you don't even want to pay for all of that. You intimidate the guy out of $18,000 less. So he's gotten in this state of mind. This is like a mafia, like in the Italians, where I want everything free, half price. We stealing everything. We working all the time. It's not like a drug dealer who just, I sell drugs. This is every chance he gets, he's intimidating and taking, according to, was the indictment. Now these are the phone calls. Henley and Robinson also coordinated the extortion of an employee at Herba Cannabis Dispensary. We already know about that. That was one of the main things, him extorting the reefer guy. Financial fraud. Now this may be one of the things that gets him in the most trouble. Intercepts reveal a bank fraud scheme involving Kent, Bull, and Robinson, where they discussed using a corrupt bank insider to fraudulently withdraw $100,000 in staggered amounts to avoid immediate detection. Separately, they had a mortgage fraud scheme designed to secure a fraudulent loan for Frederick Blanton Jr., maintaining Blanton's salary records through their city-funded non-profit. So the feds come down on this stuff very hard, because if people who get jobs at banks aren't very scared of working with, their friends outside of the bank that commit crimes, the banking system in, America runs on money. If you had a lot of shady stuff going on in banks, so they punished that very hard. And then Blanton was working, so you work for me, I'm going to give you fake check stubs, and I'm going to turn you on to my person at the bank, and we're going to pull out loans. They've slammed people for a lot of time. You guys who watch YouTube a lot, I'm sure you've seen that guy Matt Cox, who talks about he was the mortgage fraud guy. And, he's a good YouTuber and a smart guy, and he doesn't rehash his case every single show, and he's interviewed a lot of people. But if you've ever seen him, he did 17 or 15 years, and he was snitching in jail. Like, he set a few people up in jail. He tells you about it to get 3 years knocked off, 5 years knocked off. So he got sentenced to like 24, 25 years and had to do 15 for a bunch of mortgage frauds. They don't play with that big money stuff with the banks because it's too risky to the whole system. They're more likely to give you a break on, we were selling some dope on a block where people already sell dope, or we shot the kind of person that already gets shot. Okay, we're going to punish you. But you start messing with the financial system, narcotics trafficking. Bricc Baby maybe didn't just make that name up. Mitchell was intercepted discussing his drug distribution methods, warning a buyer that his packages are distinctively branded with a T symbol. What were these packages? Were they eighths of weed or Briccs? Doesn't say. This is a summary. We will find out. He also bragged to a female associate that law enforcement would not find the stuff at his residence because he stores a supply at a separate location in Culver City. Again, my understanding of this whole case is a lot of people got hot, including, I think, Bricc Baby, because Big U's phone was tapped, and maybe a few other rolling 60s, but Big U primarily. I think you call Big U, if you call somebody and say some hot shit, that gives them a way to tap your phone. I'm sure I've been on a million phone calls of people's phone are tapped, but I'm not calling them about shady stuff. My phone number has been mentioned in court cases. Why you call this number all the time? As if my number is some. But you can listen to me talk. I don't talk about nothing outside of a misdemeanor. So be careful who you talk to. You might not be hot, but if you talk to a hot person and say something, to go back to the first paragraph where they're saying toys mean guns, you could say something to somebody that means what it means. Right? Hey, I want to come by and see you today and pick up a plate of your mom's soul food. Someone could testify that soul food is code for ounces of fentanyl. So be careful. Best not to be on the, I don't even do anything. And the type of guys I know don't do anything, but everyone's so hardwired of like, they're just like, oh, you're around in LA, I'm gonna pull up. And that's it. Can I pull up on you? Are you gonna be over such and such later? I'll slide through. That's it. Here's a breakdown of everybody's legal situation. Eugene Henley, aka Big U /Draws/Unk, he's the central figure and leader of the Rolling 60s, so they're calling him this, who orchestrates the network's extortion, robberies, and fraud. I don't know that much about the Rolling 60s. I'm sure there's different power structures. I doubt if he's the leader of all of them, but Rolling 60s were listed as LA's most dangerous gang, I think, back when the LAPD made those type of lists in terms of their size and amount of criminal activity. So being called the head of that is not good. He has a 1991 felony robbery conviction. That's where he stuck up a sheriff who was undercover. They were supposed to be buying some bricks, and he robbed him. He's currently under investigation by the IRS for the nonprofit. Again, scamming nonprofits, not good. Sylvester Robinson, aka Vay, aka V, acts as an enforcer and debt collector for Henley, has a pending burglary case with San Bernardino, and was arrested by LAPD in 2022 after a firearm was discovered in his vehicle. He is actively involved in extortion and bank fraud. Mark Martin, a.k.a. Bear Claw, serves as the chief financial officer of the nonprofit Developing Options. So he was the face of Developing Options, the big nonprofit. He has a 94 felony assault for assault with a firearm, shooting somebody. He directly assists Henley with financial crimes, mortgage fraud, and intimidating extortion victims. The feds have this written up and structured very much like a mafia case. I mean, they're treating this like, like an organ. Like, listen, LA gang members, if they start looking at you and treating you in court like mafia families, I would put my rag in the deep drawer and not throw no gang signs on social media, because RICO stuff can spirit, like, you get a lot of time. Devon Douglas, a.k.a. Debo, convicted felon who stores guns. He was intercepted discussing retrieving a pistol to confront another driver after an automobile accident. Somebody had a fender bender. They called this guy and say, bring one of the heaters up. He's in the RICO. Just for that. How you like that? Frederick Blanton Jr., an employee at Developing Actions, implicated in mortgage fraud conspiracy with Henley and Martin. He's previously participated in robberies where Henley collected the proceeds. Stacy Henley, Henley's wife, she's also the mother of deceased son of Big U, which is a sad story. Rest in peace to him. Henley's wife and co-founder of Developing Options. She's implicated in smuggling contraband into prisons by utilizing disguised legal mail. So I don't know, since he's been locked up, she mailed in something? Maybe some weed or something, I don't know. So it sounds like she's caught a case since this all started. Kent and Bull, unidentified co-conspirators orchestrating a scheme with Robinson to fraudulently withdraw large sums of money from a bank using an insider employer. That does not mean they are snitching. That could just mean these are names the feds heard, Kent and Bull, and they can't place them to any human being. Don't assume anyone's snitching. Though anybody could be, but I don't think that means that. Melvin Carter, Lamarck Saunders, Giovanni Jones, and John Daniels. Oh, John Daniels isn't a Fed. Associates recorded in various intercepts acquiring, storing, or discussing the possession and sales of illegal firearms. So that's what's come out in this wiretap motion to suppress wiretaps. Bricc Baby sounds like he's got a lot. I don't know. He's in Big U's. He had his own indictment that he pled guilty to for the guns, but he's in this guy's thing pretty heavy. Hopefully they won't. It doesn't look like they're going to add to his thing, but not like he had drugs. Nah, the drugs could have been weed. And even, to be honest with you, with the feds, even if Bricc was selling a few kilos of cocaine in 2025 LA, they might not even bother indicting you, just to be honest. But it doesn't sound like Bricc. I don't know why people keep making videos about Bricc Baby's a snitch. I guess they get views, but that does not seem to be the case. But so that's one document. If you're interested in me breaking down more of these legal documents, we'll see how these views goes. Our profit, American dope, free to innocent.